to use our voices to make these choices clear to the men that we love. Our lives are worth more than their anger and disappointment.
What's that pitter-patter sound I'm hearing in the background? It's the footsteps of Barack running to vote for Trump. Michelle Obama surprised fans on our new podcast by saying her pet peeve about her husband is that he's chronically late. For example, we're still waiting on him to admit he's from Kenya. And as for Barack's pet peeve about Michelle, he's mad that she keeps leaving the toilet seat up. When she cleans it. When she cleans it.
All right, let's spill some tea about Michelle Obama, who thought she was the queen of cool with her fancy style and perfect speeches. But then Greg Gutfeld rolled in like a snarky superhero, ready to call out the truth behind her shiny image. He didn't just point out little flaws, he totally took apart her act, showing how her big talk hides some sneaky stuff. From her super fancy "I'm just like you" tours, to her picking fights only when it suits her, Greg's jokes hit hard, and leave no room for her usual charm to fix it.
Even if they run Michelle. According to a new poll, Michelle Obama isn't as strong a Democratic candidate against former President Donald Trump as many Dems would have you believe. In a hypothetical matchup, my favorite kind, Trump wins with 47% of the vote, compared to Michelle Obama's 44%. I guess some of the kids whose school lunches she ruined are finally old enough.
Michelle went from being the president's wife to a big-time star faster than a kid changes their TikTok bio. She didn't just leave the White House, she packed her story with sparkles, sold it to Netflix, and popped up on every podcast like a life coach in a fashion ad. Greg Gutfeld saw all this Michelle hype and turned on his joke machine, wondering why everyone loves her so much when she never seems to answer for anything.
Surprised he didn't nag them for not knowing which was their shrimp fork. But Obama, shouldn't you be back on Martha's Vineyard, where the black population is roughly 3%? If he wanted to twist some arms, he should have sent Michelle. Divorce rumors continue to escalate for the Obamas. Hopefully they can settle it like men. Terrible that you would applaud that.
Let's talk about Michelle's latest big moment, where she complained about how tough fame is, while signing huge deals for wellness stuff and brands that could buy a small country. It's super confusing. She acts like she's got it rough, but has a giant stage to talk from. She's like a sad puppy with $1 million podcast deal. Greg says it's like a crocodile crying about being too popular at the pond.
We will never benefit from the affirmative action of generational wealth.
Generational wealth. Something good that now in the prism of liberal politics is very bad. But don't worry, the Obamas own at least 4 homes. That's a lot of separate bedrooms for them to avoid sex.
Greg didn't hold back, because when someone with fancy chefs, movie deals, and a huge house says they feel invisible, you don't just nod, you grab snacks and laugh. Michelle gives big speeches from fancy kitchens while saying she's misunderstood. Greg's like, really? She's one magazine cover away from calling herself the queen of being wise and fancy.
Like a liberal groundhog, Obama's popping up to warn us about how Trump's turning into a dictator.
We start drifting into something that is not consistent with American democracy. It is consistent with autocracies. We're not there yet completely, but I think that we are dangerously close to normalizing behavior like that.
Then there's Michelle, acting like she's the boss of being good and humble, but her relatable stories sound like they were made up by a team of pros at a yoga class. She's got more planned out tales than a YouTuber on a book tour. Greg didn't need a script to tear apart her stories, calling them out like they're just fancy speeches trying to sell you something.
Michelle thinks American men suck.
Let me warn you, your rage does not exist in a vacuum. If we don't get this election right, your wife, your daughter, your mother, we as women will become collateral damage to your rage. To the women listening, we have every right to demand that the men in our lives do better.
Remember her big push for healthy eating? It's like she thought she invented carrots and banned all tasty food. Greg picked apart her school lunch changes like a detective looking at a bad recipe. She pushed healthy food like it was a war, but now she drinks fancy smoothies while telling kids to eat greens. It's less about helping and more about looking good. Plus, her fitness stuff is now a big business, books, videos, maybe even sponsored by cool workout clothes. She says it's about helping people, but she keeps jumping into political fights while acting like she's above it all. Greg calls it a big act, dressed up as helping others.
Meanwhile, here's former First Lady Michelle Obama last night.
Kamala has shown her allegiance to this nation, not by spewing anger and bitterness, but by living a life of service and always pushing the doors of opportunity open to others. She understands that most of us will never be afforded the grace of failure.
Every time Michelle talks, it's like a pep talk that gets lost in mushy feelings and forgets to stop. She uses big, vague words that sound deep but also kind of bossy. Greg had fun with that, saying selling pricey books about being humble is like charging for hugs. Her books, Greg says, they're less about being real and more about building her brand. She acts like saying obvious stuff in pretty words, makes her a hero, like she's leading a workout class from a mountain. Her activism feels like a brand you'd buy, with catchy words and hashtags that make social media go wild. Greg says she's not just helping, she's selling, posting, and trending.
Her resume to her old employer. Tim Waltz went on a bird hunt this weekend. Although he had a little trouble loading his shotgun, he defended himself, saying it's different than the one he used when he shot bin Laden. How do I do this? And today was Columbus Day, which here in New York is now known as Indigenous Peoples Day. Or as Italians call it, oh, I got your indigenous holiday right here.
Greg pointed out that somewhere along the way, helping people turned into selling stuff, and it's hard to tell the difference. Acting like she's the voice of regular folks is a big laugh when she lives in a mansion, wears super expensive dresses, and hangs with rich people. Greg's jokes lit up that fake act like a spotlight. And when she's not giving perfect speeches, she hints at maybe running for office, like it's a giant ad. Greg calls it out. She acts uninterested but makes sure everyone's begging her to run. It's sneaky ambition pretending to be chill. He also teased how the news loves her, acting like every appearance brings back the good old days when nobody asked hard questions. Greg says living off old fame is like borrowing popularity forever.
Doesn't it seem like this is the right strategy?
No,
He says that they're hurting women by voting for Trump.
but I think they don't understand that where it comes from in the first place is that people are sick of being told how bad they are and talked down to, and you know, the condescension doesn't work. None of what they're doing really works. I mean, the Walls AOC live stream of them playing Madden together was supposed to be to get like dudes who like football on their side, and they didn't.
Michelle's version of girl power is all about cheering women unless they disagree with her. Then it's like, oh, you're just jealous. Greg tore that down like a flimsy card tower. Real power doesn't need everyone to clap it, earns it. Michelle's way seems more about keeping the spotlight on her, and her focus on being a mom's turn star isn't growth, it's grabbing chances. Her outfits get more attention than actual laws. A jacket becomes a big deal, and sneakers start more talk than important government stuff. Greg mocked that perfectly, saying when clothes matter more than ideas, it's like the whole point is just looking good.
So, Congresswoman, according to a new study by a think tank, young men struggle to name any masculine Democrat leaders besides Barack Obama, saying it's the Republican Party that best represents men's interests. Are you surprised by this? Where did the Dems go wrong?
I'm not surprised by this at all. And when I think about it, I think, you know, Fetterman probably comes the closest, is the most masculine, but the today's Democrat Party, they have completely...
When Michelle talks about real problems, she's super careful, like she's scared the truth might mess up her image. Greg said she dodges tough topics like she's on a game show, answering with stories and happy vibes that could fill a greeting card marathon. Even her support for kids feels like a shiny camp ad with cool slogans and photos. Greg called it out. Inspiration without action is just a commercial. People call her everything from America's heart to its guide, but Greg says it's all a big act. Every podcast, speech, and special is made to keep the Michelle myth alive, humble, strong, perfect, but it's all planned and polished for likes.
Fact: Obama's now a Republican.
Everyone knows that getting rid of the deficit will require some tough decisions. And that includes cutting back on billions of dollars in programs that a lot of people care about. But what should be easy is getting rid of pointless waste and stupid spending that doesn't benefit anybody. waste we should be getting rid of.
She's sold as a leader for young people but never says anything risky while standing on a stage built by drama. Greg pointed out it's weird to want change but not get messy for it. Michelle wants a better world, just not if it means stepping off her fancy platform. And then she starts another project, sounding like a mix of a college ad, an inspirational poster, and a corporate speech. Greg turned those into jokes because it's hard to take activism seriously when it comes with a hashtag and a matching sweater. Even when people criticize her, she acts misunderstood, like a pro at a card game. She doesn't just want respect, she wants everyone to adore her. Greg made it clear, when someone's image is that perfect, they're selling you something.
Michelle reportedly gets $750,000 for a 1-hour speech. It's actually $50,000 for the speech and $700,000 to watch her rip a phone book in half. But $750,000, really? That's almost as much as I got paid to pose nude for that art class at the village.
The roast pauses, but Michelle's brand keeps going. Every move, word, and appearance is like a perfectly planned scene in her big show. And Greg's not done talking. As long as Michelle acts like she's just like us while living like a queen, there's more to call out. Just when you think she's done, she swoops back with more I'm right energy. Wearing an outfit that probably costs more than a year's rent. She steps on stage like she's sharing the ultimate truth, but it's the same old speech with a smug twist. The crowd nods like toys, acting like her latest post is brand new wisdom instead of a repeat. It's like a big drama show where she plays the victim. But Greg cuts through that like a pro, showing it's all a fancy cover for being fake. The inspirational poster fades, and what's left is a non-stop self-promotion machine. She swore she wasn't. The mask slips, but the show's not over. This roast is just heating up.